This video is for content creators and filmmakers, or people who want to become content creators and filmmakers. Recently, I've been editing a lot of projects for people, freelance, and even people I know. And I've noticed that a lot of people don't seem to understand some of the things that they need when dealing with post-production or when dealing with a professional editor. Now, you think when it comes to post-production, you give the editor an audio file or their footage and call it a day, right? Well, not really. There's a few steps that you can, and in my opinion, should take before making any sort of content to, one, make the editor's job easier, and in the end, receiving a higher quality edit. Anyways, with all that said, let's talk about 5 steps that you can take to make your content professional grade. Number 1, information and documentation. Now, it's important when dealing with a professional editor that you can provide as much information as you can on 1, what settings you use to record in, and 2, what gear did you even use to record with? A few examples being what camera and lens did you use, what f-stop, ISO, or even color profile did you record in? This information would generally be used to help your editor/colorist create the best possible image output, and also to know what to expect with different footage, as it can differ camera to camera. For example, it's really important for your editor to know whether or not you shot on a Canon camera, as Canon cameras have very specific color science, and it's going to be some really important information for them to know when they're doing their color correction and even color grading pass. And also to just be able to create a more consistent look among the footage. If you don't understand what a lot of this stuff is, that's okay, because a lot of the time, all of this information is stored in the footage's metadata, but it differs camera to camera, so be ready to have that information ready just in case. 2, consistency and delivery. Now, while consistency in filming can lead to a better workflow in post-production, I'm specifically talking about the bread and butter of all narrative-driven content, the actors. And now, what I'm specifically talking about is line delivery, and to really make sure that what your actors are saying take to take is consistent. Now, with all that said, I am in fact a huge advocate for actors taking creative liberties. However, if your actors do this, it's important that they take that decision into the next take. Now, I say this because when dialogue between takes isn't consistent, it can be very difficult for your editor to sort of create flow with your dialogue, and sort of causing them to have to frankenbite everything together. And you can run into issues because when you do have to frankenbite footage altogether, it can cause your audio to not be able to convey the grammar complexity that is generally required from an exchange. A good example of where this issue can happen is in Dragnet edits. Article linked down below to see what a Dragnet edit is. So please, if your editors are going to go off script, make sure it's at least similar, take to take, so your editor doesn't have to then make their own decisions based on the dialogue audio that they do have. Because editors will do that, and if they do, they're gonna take whatever creative liberties they damn well please. They will try to make the edit work as best as they can. Your story and vision be damned. 3, room tone. Now, room tone is one of those things that can make an editor's job way easier. Some of you may not be familiar with what room tone is, so let me explain it. So first, to talk about what room tone is, let's talk about ambient noise. What ambient noise is all of those sounds that you generally don't notice that happen all around you every day. So whether it's the hum of a computer, the sound of a fan, the sound of an AC unit, just things that kind of no longer are in your focus because you're too busy listening to your phone or a conversation that you shouldn't be listening to. I know which one it is. But what room tone is essentially to do is to add these ambient noises back into your dialogue to create a more natural sound, and also to cover up mistakes and other ambient noises and cuts in audio. To record room tone, all you really have to do, just record 30 seconds to 2 minutes of complete silence, nobody talking. The microphone's going to pick up all that ambient noise, and then you can just throw it underneath your dialogue in the editing bay. Your editor, or you, I don't know. An editor having to try to make their own room tone from quiet moments in the scene can be awful. Number 4, zooming. When people are talking or when something important is happening, don't zoom. Don't do this. It ruins your shot. If you film in 4K, you don't have to worry about zooming a lot of the time. Let your editor do that. They can reframe the shot they have plenty of resolution to play around with. It can just ruin the flow of dialogue and just make everything look vloggy and unnatural and home movie-like. But hey, if that's what you're going for, go ahead, zoom in until the audience gets motion sickness from all the camera shake. When you're zooming with a physical lens, here's a tip. Don't think of your lens as a zoom lens. Think of your lens as a single focal point lens with multiple focal points. Once you hit record, kind of keep it there. But if you do, when recording, want to get closer to the action, here's what you do. Pick up your feet, pick up your camera, hold it still, and do the ninja walk. It's gonna look a lot better than doing this. Number 5, audio quality. The 5th and final way to make your content professional grade for post-production is gonna be audio quality. Once again, here we are talking about audio. Because to be completely honest, bad audio can make or break your content's immersion. And it can be a really bad time for your editor if they have to fix bad audio quality. I'd rather have bad video before I have bad audio. A big way to avoid bad audio quality would be to do these things in your camera or your external audio recorder. Monitor your audio, or have someone else monitor your audio for you. Record your vocals at an average of -18 decibels, with -10 being the loudest and -24 being the quietest. This can keep a level of balance on your vocals without causing distortion. And trust me, you don't want to peak your mic or cause any sort of distortion. It's awful. An audio engineer will hate you. Your audio editor will hate you. Everybody will hate you. Your parents will hate you. I will hate you. And the third thing would be avoid audio interference at all costs. Keep your wireless devices away from your audio. It's as simple as that. Because if you don't, you can run into tons of buzzing, tons of hissing, and just cutting out audio, and it's not a good time. I actually had this happen to me twice. Once being my Nardwar video, you'll notice it. You can hear my audio cut out throughout the entire time. I regret this ever happening. This is awful, especially considering that that was a wireless microphone solution. And when you have wireless microphone solutions, you don't want the 2.4 gigahertz band getting filled and just everything's too close to your audio devices and you get tons of buzz and hissing. So for your sake, my sake, and everyone else's sake, to just make sure that your recording session isn't done in by a lowly smart device. Avoid interference. And that's it. That's all I've got. If you got more tips, go ahead and let me know in the comments and let everyone else know. It'd be nice to know better ways to improve the editing workflow. If you like this video and you like everything that I kind of talked about today, please give me a like or a sub. I'd like to do more content like this. Anyways, thanks for watching, and I better get back to editing.
Already had my tarot read. Things are looking up for me, that's what my tarot said. Been pumping out pheromones and wearing red. Young Jerry Lolliver King, but they're not aware of it. $40 to show money, that's what they stole from me. Blow it all bone and guess I roll funny.